Is posh bashing the last acceptable form of prejudice at university?
I wouldn't go into a really, really rough area dressed in chinos and a salmon sweater and
Apparently, posh accents are a hindrance to business. Don't hate me because I'm posh.
I would change my voice and change, the way that I come across in certain situations.
They're sort of proudly saying, I'm a posh basher. I don't know why that's something to be proud of.
A lot of the richest people that I know are certainly not posh, and certainly wouldn't be classed as posh, and some of the poshest people I know haven't got a pot to piss in.
I think it's quite sad, really. It just shows the divisions and yeah, the class war, why everyone feels insecure. Prejudice towards the posh isn't unfair. It's an attitude more people need to take. I think it is unfair, in fact. I think of big stately homes and tweed and shooting, the city, eating, horses, hunting, expensive cars and boats. Also like inherited things, really old things, like portraits of great-great-grandpa and things like that. It's a bit like a club I don't belong to, but people mistakenly think that I must belong to this club because I went to such and such a school.
Natasha is a 22-year-old Oxford University graduate. For most of her life, she's been pigeonholed as posh. It's a label she hates.
It's more of like labelling me and sort of pointing me out, as it were, or using my accent or my poshness as my sort of definitive characteristic. And that I just find upsetting and unfair and unfounded.
Hi, I'm Liam Hackett. I'm the founder and CEO of Ditch the Label. We are a national anti-bullying charity.
Liam and his team found that out of just over 2,000 young people, those from wealthy backgrounds are extremely high-risk target groups for bullies.
There could be a few reasons why people from higher income backgrounds were far more likely to receive verbal, physical, sexual and cyberbullying. It could be that they're jealous, it could be that they present themselves noticeably different. They have a nice car, they speak differently. The assumption is if somebody's well spoken, if they've got an RP accent, then therefore they're from a high income background, but it may not necessarily be true.
At any school, it will result in bullying, and any form of bullying is going to have long-term effects on the victims. With young children, it can convince them that they are what people tell them. They are selfish and arrogant and, not worth much. And as a teenager, it can make you withdraw and, you don't learn to express yourself, you learn to repress yourself.
Some of the most famous private schools in England can cost more per year than the average wage. This is an ongoing source of controversy and sometimes hostility.
Honour is the belly of the beast. All you've got is a life of privilege, wealth, women and luxury. So many quadrangles you can flee down. Two-thirds privilege class. Your day is coming. Where's your rifle? Scurry back, you fag!
Tell Mummy and Daddy we came. I'm coming back.
But private education doesn't always mean an easy life.
I think if some people heard which school I went to, they would probably assume that I was a lot more wealthy than I am, and that probably my daddy pays for everything and that I'd be financially secure. But certainly wasn't the case for me.
Max went to an all-boys private school paid for by his grandfather. He works 2 jobs, something he's had to do since the age of 16.
I spend any time outside of work, first thing in the morning or weekends.
So my sort of second job, renovating this house, and just trying to save money on getting a skip and labourers in, so I just do it myself. I didn't have any financial backing from my family or any sort of help, especially when I left school. So went through quite a lot of periods in time in my life where I was homeless and didn't have anywhere to stay at all.
With his father abroad and his mother living with an aggressive boyfriend, Max felt he had no choice but to leave home at the age of 17.
I had to travel on the train and I didn't obviously have any money, so I'd get stopped and fined quite often because it's private school uniform. A lot of the time I think they would be harsher on me, probably because they thought he can afford it. He's just taking the piss and he's trying to get away with it.
Natasha struggles with mental health problems, which makes coping with the Posh label particularly difficult.
It all starts when I start to speak. Thank you very much. There's a bit of a shock reaction. Oh, and you can see this sort of recalculating of like, oh, so they're like this and this and this. For me, the social side is a lot more important, because even if, you know, everyone in my life sort of as a significant person, like anyone that I spend time with and actually sort of value their opinion, even if all of those people knew me and loved me and like everything was great, just the thought of meeting new people and still having this thing to overcome, like in a horrible way, it's almost something to do with fashion. Like, there was a time, unfortunately, when racism was fashionable. Classism has been fashionable for quite some time. Currently, what's fashionable seems to be poshism, or, you know, this prejudice against people who speak a certain way. And it's not even about the lifestyle they live or, you know, the decisions they make, the choices they make, anything like that. It's just the way they speak, which is what makes it so ridiculous to me. Because the rich suffer from poshism and the poor are derided as chavs. Yeah, it's no one's happy, clearly. And yeah, we're all too, I think, hung up in these sort of antiquated ideas. I think it's more about looking forward instead of people's pasts and, you know, ancestry. Like, it's not important.